Hey everyone, it is Snow here and welcome to another video. So today I'm gonna be doing a story time, which I don't really do very often. But since it's Halloween, I thought this was the best time to do a scary story time. I want to start off by saying that there are going to be two parts to this video, and that's why it's gonna be so long, because half of it is gonna be for the scary part and the other part is gonna be for more of like funny and cool stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with the funny things and then leave the second part for the scary things, and I will go ahead and have something like part 2 written down so you guys know when like the more scary things are gonna happen. Before I start off this video, you guys have to have some background information so you understand what is really happening. So first of all, I did this in summer vacation. I did this with my cousins who are absolutely amazing, and this was actually really fun. Basically, this is kind of like an interactive game, and the point of it is that they're going to put you in like a small room and you have to find a way out of it. That's like the basic structure of it. And now we are ready to begin. So when we first arrived and when I got out of the car and they showed me which place it is, it definitely did not look exactly normal. So what happens is you have to open the door, you have to go in, and the lights are obviously dimmed, and then you have to go ahead and ring a doorbell, and then someone's going to come and open the door, and then you go in and you tell them everything. My cousin, sister, and I all went to the same one. We were a team, and that was required. You have to have more than one person. The name of what we did was something like Wild West or something like that. And there are some game rules that she explained to us. So what happened is my cousin, sister, and I all went in a straight line, and we kind of like hung on to each other. And she made us put on blindfolds because that's also required at the beginning, blindfolds. So then you don't know what is happening. And then you walk a little bit until someone you don't know just says, bring one hand up. And that was the first mistake I made. I am right-handed, so I should have put my left hand so then I have my right hand as free, but I ended up giving them my right hand, and they put a lock and a chain on it, so that was pretty stupid of me, but you know what, whatever. Then he's gonna tell you to walk into something, whatever, and then sit down, and then once you're seated, he's going to just like make sure that the chain is all good and whatever, and you have to keep the blindfold on for a little bit more. Once everyone is set up in their own little room, they're going to say something like start, and then you have to take off your blindfold and see where you are. So when I took it off, I noticed wood. The entire room was made out of wood. And the room was actually pretty small. And there was some writing or like paint on one of the walls saying a few numbers and like whatever. It was just crazy. And it turns out that I was sitting on some weird little box, so I got up and I bent down and it looked like I could move this block inside of it. So I did that and I found a key and a lock. I also noticed a few other locks, and yes, I'm still here. But I also noticed a few other locks and things like that, but I couldn't find any keys, so I guess it was the kind of lock where you have to do it numerically. And then, not very much later, I heard my cousin screaming, guys, can you hear me? I'm just like, yeah, but barely. I can tell that she was pretty loud, but I guess she was kind of far away. And I was still pretty much clueless at that time. But then, next to me, on my left hand of the wall, there was like a really small little hole, and I saw my sister right there. So my sister and I were in a room, and we were both next to each other, and then in my sister's room, there was like a tube, like a long tube, where she can see and hear and talk to my cousin, who was in a totally different room than us, and it was kind of bigger, shall I say. The game story was that we were all some cowboys or whatever, and we went went to jail, and we had to find a way out, and there are clues and keys and locks all over the place, and you just gotta unravel everything. I am not very good with these things, so this was an absolute struggle for me. Also, you guys should know something. You actually only have 1 hour to complete everything, and the first hint you ask for, you just have to use both of your index fingers and make an X with them, and there's a camera and someone who can hear and see everything you do, and he can talk into a microphone, so for the hints if you ask for them. So the first hint is free, but after that, if you ask for a second hint, it's going to take off 5 minutes of your time, and it's going to continue doing that the more and more hints you ask for. And I'm not even going to lie to you guys, this guy gave us like 50 billion hints, and we were still not able to complete it, because time was not very long. So I keep trying with this lock that's like kind of another door, but no matter what I would do, it just wouldn't work. And I would struggle with this one lock, and I just couldn't understand why. And then the guy talked into the microphone, and he's just like, you over there. And I'm just like, me? He's like, yeah, you. Look into the camera. And I did. And then he's like, listen, that lock behind you, you have to use these numbers to actually open it. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. I tried it like 50 times, and nothing would work. I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I tried it like the normal number, I tried a different number, I tried all of them backwards, but nothing would work. But then I noticed this other lock, and it had like a little X on it, but I'm just like, ooh, that's interesting. And I'm not quite sure how, but somehow I figure out how to open this other lock. And once I have it opened, the door between me and my sister opened up, and she's just like, wow, nice job. And I'm like, thanks. It took me forever, but thanks. So we both go. So now there's no longer a wall separating my sister and I, but there is definitely like a big separation between my sister, my cousin. But at least I was with someone. We tried to talk to her, and then she's like, guys, I found something. And we're just like, what is it? While we're trying to figure other things out. She's just like, wait, give me a couple minutes. And while she was doing that, my sister, who was way taller than me, noticed something interesting. Like, what is it? I got so tired of jumping up and down to the point where I just stand up on the box and I look through it. I'm just like, oh my god, keys. So she grabs this with like the stick, but I didn't have it. She did, but she uses the stick to get the keys, and then we're just like using the keys to try to figure out everything. We finally got the chains off, but we still had like the little, I don't know what it's called, but we still had something on our wrists, and honestly my wrist hurt pretty bad from this. So we're in my sister's room again, and we're like trying everything, and then all of a sudden we hear some footsteps, and we hear little creaky noises. Then we hear keys trying to unlock a door nearby. So for a second I was kind of worried, but when the door opened, it was my cousin. She got out of her cell, and she was able to come out and give us the key. We found some bottles on a table, little miniature bottles, and they had little clues and notes on them, and it was pretty cool. But before we knew it, the lights went off, and all of a sudden this big, tall dude came, and he's just like, let's go. And I'm just like, okay. And that marked the end of our time. So the three of us are sitting down outside where it all started, and we're just waiting for them, and then we hear a very loud, ear-piercing scream. And that was my other cousin who went to the horror story mode. That's right. So now begins part 2, the horror one, aka the one that I didn't go to, thankfully. I asked my cousins who were on this team in horror to describe to me exactly what happened and the details and all kinds of things like that. So here's what I got from them. You're in the room, you're all actually next to each other in one big room, and there's like a window, a cage, all kinds of things around. And first thing you do, you take off your blindfold and it's completely dark for like a couple seconds. They turn on the lights and you see each other, you're all together, and you can all walk, obviously. Like, you could walk, but to a certain extent, right? Because of the chains. So they're just there, and one of them decided to keep opening this window, and when you do that, this girl, like an actual girl, guys, will come out and like do all kinds of crazy stuff. And this girl is climbing on top of the cage, apparently. No one knows how this happens, but somehow she does that. And at one point, someone actually threw a blanket over their heads when it was dark. So they're just clueless and it's like, oh my god, what is this thing? Get it off. And I gotta say, most of them were just screaming, like almost the entire time. But one of them, which is my brother, who's a little bit older, he wasn't that scared, so he's just like, guys, stop screaming, I'm trying to figure this out, as if nothing was happening, and they're just like screaming on top of their lungs. So to me, that was honestly hilarious. They're just screaming and holding each other's hands, and they don't even want to try to figure anything out. They just want to scream. And of course, there are things popping out whenever you unlock little clues. And there's like creepy music in the background. You can hear like a girl screaming, all that fun stuff. But once they all came out, they all look like they've just experienced something super traumatic. And they were feeling their heartbeats. They were just like, what just happened? Is this real life? Am I out? So honestly, I got so worried, I was actually scared for them. It's like, what happened in there? But it was hilarious. Everyone just laughed it all off in the end. And I forgot to mention something small. In this room where like you start off and they explain to you the rules and everything, there's like a bunch of creepy little paintings. It was cool. At the end you got to like write something down to show that you were here, and you can actually take a picture with like these little costume things, and you can all take a picture together, and it's pretty cool. So overall, it was a really fun and cool experience. The only thing is that one stupid law. That's right, guys. I am still pretty salty about that because I kept trying for like 20 minutes and nothing would happen. It was just a huge waste of time. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!